To what I'm sure is absolutely no one's surprise, Captain African American or Captain America Brave New World was an absolute flop of a movie, drawing in very little attention in the box office and getting very poor reception overall. The movie was not good. I watched it, unfortunately, and I wanted to wait to do a small review until I had something to cover it on. And let's be clear, the only reason I saw this movie is because Marvel Rivals was giving away a free skin if you went and saw it opening weekend, so I forced my dad to go to it just to torture him a little bit. Now, it's usually pretty normal for a movie to have a small drop-off when it comes to the second weekend. Usually around 30 to 60% seems to be the average drop-off. But how was that for Captain African American? Well, it was significantly worse, with the movie touting an 83% drop-off from Friday to Friday, and I believe it was a 76% drop-off weekend to weekend, which is a truly laughable number. That is completely insane to see that something like a Marvel project would have such a severe drop-off. When it's beating out movies like Multiverse of Madness and Thor Love and Thunder, it's a really sad sign of the state of the current comic book industry. But before I go any further, like, subscribe, and let's get into this. Captain America Brave New World suffers devastating 71.8% drop in second weekend as media tries for the usual spin. Coming from that Park Place, written by M. Montanaro, Captain America Brave New Section 8 housing has taken a steep fall in its second weekend with a massive 71.8% decline at the domestic box office. The Anthony Mackie-led superhero film pulled just $28.2 million from Friday through Sunday, according to Box Office Mojo, a sharp contrast to its $100 million 5-day double holiday opening weekend. This significant drop is raising serious concerns about the film's staying power and the Marvel Cinematic Universe's continued struggle at the box office. The 71.8% decline is particularly alarming when considering that the film made more on its opening day, February 14, than it did over the entire second weekend, making this weekend's result a clear reflection of a waning audience interest and poor word of mouth. In fact, the film's Friday to Friday drop was a staggering 82.4%, indicating a significant rejection by moviegoers after the initial holiday rush. Now, there could be a way that this opening day being higher than the entirety of the second weekend opening could be a good thing if everybody went and saw the movie on the opening day, but given the fact that the movie only drew in a depressing $100 million, we know for a fact that's not the case. Now, while Brave New Joggers maintained its first place spot at the box office, it was more of a result of a lack of strong competition than a testament to the film's strength. The film has now grossed $141 million domestically and $289.4 million worldwide to date. While these numbers may seem solid at first glance, they are far from reassuring when factoring in the film's enormous budget. One of the most contentious points surrounding Brave New Future Doctors has been the film's true cost. While many media outlets continue to cite the official $180 million production budget, insiders and industry experts have reported that the actual figure is significantly higher. Multiple rounds of costly reshoots are believed to have ballooned the total production cost to somewhere between $350 million and $375 million. This means the film would need to gross close to $900 million globally just to break even after factoring its marketing, distribution fees, and other cuts. With its current worldwide total sitting at just under $290 million, Brave New Youths is falling well short of that target. Now, to be clear, because I know a lot of people don't understand how this works, when it comes to determining whether or not a movie is profitable, the best way, the easiest shorthand is simply to double the cost. That's how much money the movie needs to make to break even. So, if we were to just go with the reported number of $180 million for the budget, then in order to guess what the break-even box office needed is, you have to double that number. So $360 million for Brave New Graduates to move on and actually reach the break-even point. So that means that the movie would still have to bring in an additional $100 million above what it already made if it wishes to reach that break-even point. So even if we are being as generous as possible to Disney and believing the figure they're telling us, they're still nowhere near that break-even point. What's also raising eyebrows is how certain media outlets have been spinning the box office numbers to present Brave New Hooligans in a more favorable light. Variety, for instance, has reported that 68% second weekend drop. However, this figure is based on a comparison between the Friday to Sunday period of the film's opening weekend, which grossed $88.8 million rather than the $100 million 5-day double holiday total that was widely publicized, which is a fair comparison to make. However, Variety never mentions the $88.8 million figure, opting to instead tout a massive massive six-figure domestic opening weekend for the Disney film. Effectively, sites like Variety are completely goalpost shifting, changing the exact range of dates that they're using to represent the box office first week and second week in numbers, therefore making the drop-off on the second week look significantly less bad when compared to the limited scope of the first weekend that they're using. By selectively using the smaller figure for comparison and not clarifying, the reported percentage drop appears less severe, even though the actual decline from the full 5-day total paints a much bleaker picture. Massive second week drop-offs are not unheard of for comic book films, but with a 71.8% fall places brave new rambunctious teenagers in troubling company. Its decline is on par with other recent Marvel disappointments like Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, which saw a 70% drop following a $106 million debut, and Eternals, which also suffered a sharp fall in its second weekend. By contrast, films like Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 saw a more modest 47% decline after a $118 million opening, allowing it to endure at the box office and ultimately become one of the few recent MCU films to cross the 800 million mark globally. Even Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness and Thor Love and Thunder, both of which experienced steep second weekend declines of 67%, managed to post stronger initial openings, giving them more breathing room to reach profitability. There's also another thing, in terms of how good or bad these movies are. You see, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 was good. Ant-Man the Wasp: Quantumania was not. Multiverse of Mom was pretty bad. Not as bad as Quantumania, or as bad as Brave New Partygoers. It's clear that the Brave New American Citizen's steep drop is not just the result of a standard box office trends, but it's being fueled by pure reception and lackluster word of mouth. The film earned a B- cinema score and the lowest in MCU history, signaling that audiences left the theater underwhelmed. This tepid response has translated directly into the second weekend decline, as fewer moviegoers are encouraging others to see the film. Negative reviews have also played a role. Critics have widely panned the film for its muddled plot, inconsistent tone, and over-reliance on reshoots, which many believe led to a disjointed final product. And I can confirm, Brave New World is not a great movie. It's got some decent action set pieces. The first fight when he's fighting that guy who looks nothing like his comic counterpart was mildly interesting, and the fight over the Adamantium Celestial was mildly entertaining, even though it jumped the shark a couple too many times. The one point of praise I'm willing to give brave new African type individuals is that Harrison Ford, yes, the only major white guy in the movie, did a wonderful job with his performance. I really bought in all the stuff that he was doing, and I thought the way that he portrayed the Red Hulk was pretty good. The Red Hulk was terrible. That was a horribly done subplot that was clearly sandwiched in there in the last 5 minutes. Literally, as with every other review, because I know I'm a week later in the review, those 5 minutes you saw in the trailer were exactly the 5 minutes in the thing. And somehow, despite the fact that they filmed the cherry blossom scene on location, with using only a blue screen in some of the parts, the entire thing looked like it was filmed in the volume. There was this hazy fuzziness around everything that made it utterly hideous to see. So really, it's not worth your time. In fact, because I have the Regal Unlimited, the only reason I went to go see the movie is explicitly so I could get that Winter Soldier Revolution skin in Marvel Rivals, which Regal gave you if you went and saw the movie. Because yeah, it was bad. But on the topic of reshoots, director Julius Ona has attempted to downplay the significance of the reshoots, stating, "We did one period of additional photography, which is the same on all these movies. There are so many variables, and additional photography becomes essential to fine-tuning and coming up with a thing that we know the audiences will love." So then why didn't you do that? You said you redid some more photography to make something audience would love. Where's this product that audience will love? Now, but things have actually gotten a little bit worse for Marvel ever since that movie came out, with Deadpool creator Rob Liefeld calling out Kevin Feige to be fired after Captain America Brave New Angry Bowlers suffers catastrophic second weekend box office drop. As Rob Liefeld is turning up the heat on Marvel rival studio boss Kevin Feige, the Deadpool co-creator has publicly urged Marvel to move on from Feige following this weekend's disappointment performance of Captain America Brave New Armed Lawless Kids, marking another escalation of his ongoing feud with the studio. As Rob Liefeld tweeted in response to the film, "Get Feige off the mound, he's spent." And this is a response to a post discussing Brave New aspiring robbers' extreme decline, with Liefeld reporting that Kevin Feige does not treat comic book creators well. That is my personal experience, with many stories coming out about how Marvel would go ahead and they're changing things in the MCU so that they don't have to keep paying the comic creators their dues. which is one of the reasons for the 25% different, all new, all different era of Marvel, where they kept race swapping, sexuality swapping, and one on every single character, so they didn't have to pay anybody royalties for using their creations. And to that, Beau DeMayo, the creator and showrunner of X-Men 97 for the first 2 seasons, who was fired for questionable reasons, responded that it is a cultural problem at the studio all the way to the top. Look at X-Men 97. I had locked 9-episode awesome season 2 done for them in an animatic form in March 2024. It was ready to be animated, undergone the same polish and post that season 1 did. Effectively, continue to call out the fact that Feige has a history of screwing over creators. Because they don't really look for creatives or people who can make a good story, all they're looking is to cast, not hire. For instance, the brave new baseball bat wielding thugs director was also cast in the role because he's a black man, chosen explicitly for that, and so that they could put a movie directed by a black man, starring a black man, into African American History Month. But at the end of the day, I'm not really shocked at all that the movie is doing this poorly. There's nothing there to suggest that the movie would be doing well in the slightest bit. And while they had a few cool looking scenes, a few well performed lines, and some decent dialogue, the movie in all was a terrible movie, with very little to redeem it other than what I've already listed. Brave New Bus Passengers is a movie that dropped the ball at every front and is hopefully going to be a wake-up call for Marvel that they either need to fix their shit or they're going to go out of business real fucking soon. And here's to hoping they clean up some of this mess when we get Thunderbolts and Fantastic Four, but let's be entirely honest. At the end of the day and at the end of this year, the only good Fantastic Four movie will continue to be The Incredibles. So that's all I've got, so let me know down in the comments what you guys think about this, and I will see you guys on the next one.